Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I know I promised you guys a couple of videos of the assembly area and of the documentary that we're doing, which is still coming up. We just wanted to squeeze this video in quickly before we got to that, right? So this is one of the cars basically on the chassis machine quickly, and we're going to use this video. One is to update on this vehicle here. Secondly is to
give you a hands-on what is actually happening in the process.
Yeah, and basically just to, I actually want to use this guy as an example, right? As to showing where we measured out the car, what we found on the car, as to what really had to happen on the car, right? So quickly, this guy here is I didn't start the video on this vehicle, right? And there's a reason why I didn't do it. But I did show you guys this car in metal. So it was in the glass bay with 3 ISs there. This year, there's one shuttle line, two shuttle lines and 1 ISs. This is the 1 IS from there. So this year was still metal prepped up all the way through. And we're starting to get it ready for body work. And it wasn't supposed to go down this far. We were not supposed to strip down this far. This car basically was just a basic respray car.
Respray, yeah.
Right, because we couldn't get the body right. There was a lot of waves on the car, and we saw from before that we're not going to be able to polish it out or buff it out, or it was just too far gone. So the only way to get this car right was basically go down to metal again, get rid of all the layers, and that was our core point.
To get the job done, yeah.
Basically, but it was our core focus at that point in time, right? Was just to get the paint on. So digging in further, and it comes down to exactly why we call for restoration or we call for full strip down. This is a clean example of that, right? So remember, this car came in as a respray car from day one. Currently now, every single thing is stripped out of this car. All right, so I think when I showed you guys the video, this was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we still had the complete drivetrain and the car could still start up.
Yes.
Now there's nothing left of the car. So we started with the bodywork. We got the bodywork down to metal. We started prepping it up. We got it pin and filed, as you guys saw in the last video, right? We got our first layers of primers on, and we need to start blocking down on that. But before that, we knew that we found rust on the pedal, of which I'm going to show you guys now. We pulled out that side there. We found rust in the boot, right? So, and those areas there is not an area that you can just come out and clean out quickly. We opted this time around. We opted for sandblasting in the boot. So with the blasting, I always say sandblasting, but we use glass.
It reveals, right?
All the. But we'll blast certain areas like the engine bay, the interior, the boot area, the corners. We'll blast those areas, but not the white panels anymore. We found rust in the booth. Obviously, we found more rust in the cabin of the car or in the interior of the car. Then we came to the engine bay and we found more drama there. So let us go through this here quickly. Okay, so Atul, let me explain to them what we found first and how we got to this point, right?
Absolutely.
Then you're going to come from a technical point as to how we pulled it out and how we got it out. So when this car was on the ground, one thing that we knew, one thing that was visible as a complete car, right, was that the front left-hand side had a
deviation.
It had a positive camber.
Oh yes.
So meaning that your wheel basically on the car, you got negative camber
and positive is
and
out.
You got a positive camber. So positive camber is when the top of the wheel is out, in simple terms, when the positive of the wheel is out. So the right hand side was straight, the left hand side had a positive camber on it, right? And that can come in 2 ways. A common way is for a strud. So your strud is your shock tower basically, or your shock. Your shock.
Let's call it your shock. That holds the wheel to the body on the top.
It's a shock strut. Yeah. Your strut, right?
Strut, yeah.
Yeah, it's a strut. So your strut where your shock goes into, that there a lot of the times guys hit a pothole or whatever it is and they tend to bend, or something happens and they tend to bend. So a lot of the times we see it as a negative camber. This time around we saw it as a positive camber. So we knew, okay, fine, we might have to get to suspension. But having gone through so many of these cars by now, right? First thing that we went through is the measurements.
Yes.
So we found 25 mil out on the shock tower. So meaning that the shock tower was pushed over 25 mil to the passenger side of the car, right? So to the left-hand side of the car. And if you think logically about it, if it pushes over that way there, that's how your wheel gets forced over that side. That's how you come to a positive camber. Okay, all good and well. So now we found the 25 mil out there, right? But it's not as simple as that. It's not just to say, okay, fine, I found 25 mil out here. Let me pull the side here.
25 mil in. Yeah.
Right? It's not like that. So we started going deep. We obviously going deeper into the car, going into metal, going through the car. We knew the car had to come onto the chassis machine. So we blasted the engine bay through, blasted the interior, blasted the boot through. We found our rust areas, right? And we're still going to tackle the rust areas that we found there, which is your normal areas, but it was patched before, but it's your normal area. So it's basically full, not full, it's floorboard replacement there. So before we went back into fabrication, we said, okay, fine, let's get the car punch straight. So we know that where we cut out, we fabricate basically the correct size panel to it, right? Because there was a warpage, there was a collapse.
Crease. There was a crease in there, yeah.
So a crease zone in the tunnel area here, on the firewall area, not on the tunnel
firewall.
On the firewall area. So we said, let's pull first, get the crease zone cleaned up, right? And then fabricate the floors. Get the car onto the machine. So, okay, so we found the, sorry, I had to stop the guys from the using the air that they're all going for a smoke zone, smoke out. Okay, so pull the crease zone out basically, and we can get correct measurements for fabrication on the floor, right? Because if we now fabricate to the creased floor, we can fabricate wrong as well. So we get the car to the chassis machine, we pull the back, we lock the back in, jig the back in, jig the side in, right? The back of the car is square, right?
Yeah. Back
so
of
the
the
back
car
is still good.
Yeah.
Top of the car is good.
Yeah.
So this is the car that also, the roof was also scuff, remember? Okay, so we jig the car up to the back as they came here to the front legs, right? Okay, I told you, carry on here now. As we came to the front legs.
So what had happened here is exactly what, once we sandblasted this area clean, we found there was patching been done in this area. Everything was covered up with body filler. So once we stripped it, we saw there is something going on with the chassis. When we came further on and we did the measurements on this end, we found that when we initially did the top measurement, we were 25 mil out.
Yeah.
But as you said, the 25 mil, we need to figure out how much,
where's the 25 mil coming from.
So we obviously then had to figure out that we came to that conclusion that the right hand side is actually 15 mil in, and this side, the chassis, so this thing was bent like this. So obviously you get your camber going out.
Positive camber.
So this came in 10 mil and that was actually 15 mil in.
So this guy pulled in, so basically pulled in skew like that. Yeah.
That pulled in skew. So the car might have had a hit or whatever.
So I know the customer did say that this car was knocked in the front before, right? But it most likely wasn't repaired before properly.
It wasn't repaired properly. That's why they covered up and things and just, got it more or less.
This is why I say is that you'll always pick it up. Whether the car doesn't drive properly, line up properly, it's always, you just, we're seeing it more and more with these cars, right? And it's, so basically saying we came 10 mil from the bottom. So
let's start from the back here. So we always start from that point, and when we move forward, say from the center point of the car, and then we move forward to the car. You can't start here and it's bent there and you're pulling this.
Yeah, you need to know where to start from.
We start from there and we come forward. So basically, first thing we do, we came to this section here, because that's in line with your shock towers and that affects your shock towers. We pull that 15 mil over, we pull this 10 mil over that side. We got the shock towers all fell into place because remember when you pull from the factory where it's made and you pull it, other areas tend to fall into place.
Okay, so quickly, where is getting his 10 mil out, right?
What's on the jig
show them here quickly? You want to show them here quickly where you're getting your 10 mil out here?
So if you look at when we put the jig onto the car and then we head it into our point there, it showed us the 15 mil on the jig. You see there's a 0 point.
Yeah.
You got the negative and the positive going out. So it was actually 15 mil this way.
Yeah.
That showed us because it couldn't line up. Because when we put it into that point, the jig actually then comes to a measurement of 15 mil over here.
Okay.
Now if you can see, we actually now at almost 0.5 there. Yeah. 0.5. And then on this side, it was 10 mil over. So this is also at 0.5 right now.
Okay.
0 and then 0.5. 0.5. So now we know 0. We got the thing 100%. We pulled the chassis, locked it. It was in its place.
Okay, quickly, where do we get the 0.5 figure from?
So that's from the data sheets.
That's from the
So the data sheets will give us the exact amount of measurements here.
Yeah.
We split that because everything is symmetrical.
Yeah.
So we split the measurements in between, and then obviously that's how we get whatever dimensions are out.
So your first step is basically to see how far you're out here, where you're lying now with the jig.
Yes.
Then you go back to your measuring point here, right?
Yes.
So that locks the bottom in.
You're right.
Then from there,
we lock this one in.
yeah.
Now we see we've got a discrepancy of whatever millimeters out on the jig.
Yeah.
We take the data sheet, we measure from there to there, obviously just to compare whatever it is. Obviously, the data sheet will always show us left and right, which will be equal. Any point in that is symmetrical will have the equal amount of measurements from the center.
Sure.
So if you take the center of the car, we get our center. From there, from the center to here,
you need a certain point there.
Certain amount of measurements, and that will give us
so
our
it's crucial that, okay,
yeah.
so the data sheet that we're working off is
I can bring it and we can show that.
Yeah, okay.
Let me just bring that quickly.
Okay, so we got the data sheet for you, but we just put the lasers back on. And I just want to show you quickly from a reference point what we're talking about.
Okay, so basically, if you see the laser where it's pointing in the middle of the car there, that's giving you the center line of the car. And the car is symmetrical, obviously left and right. So from that center line, we take a measurement to the jig here.
Yeah.
And if you look at the chart here, this is our datum sheet here over a 3 series.
One side of you.
3 series. Okay, I got a 4-wheel drive, but I'm just got the wrong data sheet. But anyway, the front is the same.
Okay.
Just to give you that idea that.
Actually, no. So we'll show. Okay, we're going to show you a data sheet now, right?
Let me just see if this is. Yeah, here's a 2-wheel drive. Sorry, here's a 2-wheel
the 4-wheel drive is actually based. Just so you guys know this. Yeah.
It's different.
The 4-wheel drive is totally different. So the 4-wheel drive and the pillarless is the same.
Yes.
And then everything else.
But if they really want to see, let's just give this to the viewers, right? If you look at that part of the data sheet here, right? If we go to the suspension, that's 395, right? But let's take the shock tower. That is actually showing us just 465 and 465.
Yeah.
Here's your center line. So you must have from that center line to there, it must have the same measurements to that.
To your measuring points.
If we go to the 4-wheel drive, if you look at that, it's 581 and 581. Yeah. That's why people mustn't get confused with that. There are differences.
Yeah, you can, but it's okay. So from a physical point, you can see it, right? I
Yes.
didn't know what the values were.
Yes, but now we're using the values here, the actual manufacturers.
So just come back onto the surface. Come back here quickly. Let me just switch. Let me just go back and switch our lasers off here. Okay, so if you can just zoom properly into here, right? This here will basically tell us, it basically gives us information all the way through. So this is a bottom view. This here is the bottom view of the car, right?
Yes.
This here is your engine bay, but it's a top view of the engine bay.
Yes.
And this is the side view.
That's your heights. This is all your heights.
For the side view, right?
That's a side view, yeah. That's actually giving you heights. So obviously, you also have to work with heights. Remember, we got your length,
and that's how we found out.
Height.
That's how we found out. We actually
on the heights we were out 12 the side, and on that side we were 15.
Okay. So guys, you got a picture of this here, but it's all one thing to have this the measurement, the measurements and the information. It's another thing knowing where to measure and how to measure. Once you find out how much your measurements are or what measurements you are, where you're out, where to start pulling, right? So a lot of people say, I'm 20 miles out, let me just pull the car. No, it doesn't work that way. You see guys working and pumping. Yes, it might come right with panels on and you might close those gaps, but it's not necessarily that they will win and actually get the car pin straight.
100%.
So in this sense here, we're squaring the car up now basically. So you got your x-axis, right? So x-axis, we know we're working with our horizontal plane.
Yeah.
Y-axis, I'm going to go back down to this. We've done a video about this before. Y-axis is on our
height,
vertical plane, right?
Yes, yes.
But on the Y-axis, we got different points.
Yes, yes.
So you can't just go and get this point right on our Y-axis. You understand? We can't get this piece. So on our X-axis, we'll go to call this here 0, and we'll start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, and we need to get each plane right. Because if you come to the top of the car, for example, if you come to the top of the car, you'll have this side here squared up.
Yes.
But the top can still be out.
Out, exactly.
Right, and then your doors don't close properly, windows don't go in properly, and the car is still freaking skew. So we've got to go through the car, and when we say we square car out, it's in that sense. So you're tackling every single part of the car with it.
So if we look at this plane here, you'll think more or less, okay, the chassis is straight.
Yeah.
A lot of guys maybe working on a different system or don't have this type of measuring system and whatever and locking system. will just think, okay, you know, it must be the same height there and the height there. But if you look at the chart here, you'll see every measurement from that point to this point is different. I mean, you got 193, 195, 315, 304, all different measurements. So once we had that section locked in, we found that the front of the chassis were actually also, one was down and one was up. Almost that one was more than that one. This one here was 15 mil up. This one was 12. But
they were both high.
They were both high.
Okay.
But you'd think, okay, this one is correct, and let's just get that one down. But
they're both out.
But they're both
you're correcting the other one.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're obviously working with the chart, and we had to then lock this in position.
Yeah.
Because if we just don't have any locking system, and you pull this thing down 15 mil, you're going to bend it from that point. Because this is one long arm.
Yeah.
You got nothing supporting.
You'll actually start pulling it off by the spots and the stitches.
Yes.
So we have seen a couple of E30s track pull from there. They actually not torn away, but you can see they're stressed away.
Yeah.
From those areas.
Yeah. And there's
something else I want to get onto. I want to touch base with as well with regards to the chassis legs.
Okay.
But anyway.
So basically, once we established that is in the correct height, the correct width, and everything is in, we lock it into position.
Yeah.
Now we start working on the front of this, from this piece to that piece.
Yeah.
Now we can confidently twist this into its place without moving that section.
Sure.
So we got this into place.
So we lock in here first, and now we start working with the front.
Yeah. So whatever we need to net, then we work with this piece here. Because remember, this piece was up. A lot of
times you'll always see a kink, and if I'm not mistaken, there was a kink here, no?
Yeah, there was. That's why you can see there's some extensive work being done here.
Extensive work.
This was bent in here. This was in here.
Yeah.
All this was squashed. So what had happened actually with this, whatever damage happened to the car in whichever way, it actually bowed like this. Okay. So what we had to do is bring that section down and then obviously manipulate the other one.
So
it went up like this but bent. Yes.
So we've got another German spec that we got in here that's got the same issue.
Yes.
Right. So what happens is that the car actually done this here.
Yeah, but it actually went up like that. You see. Yeah.
So hey, that's gonna be a nice car to work on with regards to chassis.
We've done the one before, but yeah, you know.
Okay, so guys, so coming back quickly, right? So we found here's a couple of issues that we found. Firstly, we found 15 millimeters, right?
Yes, 15 mil in. Yeah.
So 15 mil in, and then this side here another 10 mil in, but it kept position there, so it pulled the tower.
That position was out. Yes.
So it pulled the tower back, right?
Yeah.
So now as we pull this guy back out, the tower came into position.
It came into position because it sort of moved like that, you see.
And basically the same thing on the side here.
On that side here, yeah.
So you know what they could have done, right? They could have tried and manipulated. We need to actually check that strut.
They could have pulled that one side.
The right hand side strut.
Yeah.
I think is now manipulated to compensate for this 15 millimeter.
That's what a lot of sometimes they can't get things right and people bend, and you know where they call it in the alignment centers,
and then they call what's slotting and
bending the camber.
So that's manipulating basically into place, right? Obviously if the car if it's a driving car, you can't really go to this extent here, but there is guys that specialize in chassis straightening and alignment.
Yes.
Right. So that's a different game by itself. Where they actually will go and pull the chassis straight to get the alignment right. They use alignment as a guide.
Well, that's basically what we're doing. But what the normal alignment guy will see, you out on your camber. They do bending, and they bend your strut.
They'll just manipulate it.
But it's not right actually. No, it's not right because your strut is bent in the opposite direction, which is not right. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this whole the car is engineered a special way, but us as humans come and say.
But the critical point is to get to this must be right. So in order for everything to work right.
So
your suspension and everything.
We've seen it on the cars, right? And we've seen it over and over again, where everything on the car has got to be square. And I think also with Brandon around, that also opened our eyes to say, you know what, even with the car square, your suspension has got to be square.
Yes.
So that's another ballgame that we're going to tackle afterwards, right? Of which we think we know, but we don't know. We found this here out now. But that's another video. But everything has got to square out first. Once everything squares out, you'll actually find that putting the car together actually is so much easier. So the hard work is getting done now, right? So there's no manipulation getting done afterwards, right?
So there's just one more thing I want to come. You can see we took off the cradle here on the car.
Touch base on that now.
And we had to take out the cradle in order to work here neatly. And you can see your sections were cut out. But just to come back to the cradle, in order before the previous repair, they actually cut the cradle here in two pieces to manipulate it to actually fit and align the bonnet. Yes, the cradle. If we ever the one here, we can show you. Remember, I even showed you that it was cut in two
I saw
pieces,
that,
and
but
they
I
manipulated it.
couldn't understand why.
Yes,
Yes,
oh, right. Cradle, old cradle.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, let's put it here across here.
So the shop is a bit near my car.
Put it the other side. Other way. So you can see here, they manipulated it, cut it into, and they shortened this to actually make everything align on the top. You see, this is the manipulation.
I want to show you guys something here quickly. So this here, I remember this here. So this car, I know about the assembly about this car from a while back. Right? And why I'm saying I know what happened here, because that time I was so wet in my ears, I didn't know what I know now. But we didn't assemble it. So, but I know what happened there. So basically putting the motors in, everything is mounted in its place, putting the radiator in. And they found that I think the viscous, the fan, was scraping on the radiator. Not full force onto it, but on the one side of it. So they pulled here basically to manipulate to get the radiator. So this cradle was mounted on skew as well.
Yes.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that the cradle was mounted on skew. This could have been mounted in the correct position, which I highly doubt, but let's give the benefit of the doubt. Mounted in the correct position, but with the car being so skew and pulled out, you're never going to get everything just to function where it's supposed to be. You're going to have to manipulate somewhere. So that's what we're avoiding here now.
But the critical part is, you can see where this chassis has been bent here, they manipulated by cutting the cradle short. You know, so there's a lot of tricks and things people do to repair these cars like that, you know, from in the old days or whatever it is. And right now, the chassis are 100% straight and no doubt.
So we can actually
comfortably put everything, and everything fits nicely.
So we can actually go back to repairing and
putting a new. Well, we're going to put a new cradle.
I found okay, there is no new cradles available. Then out of stock. So I don't really want to wait. I don't even want to get into that how that's repaired and.
But you can just see behind it. Look at it. Look at the rust.
Yeah, but that's of welding
and this was the piece that was in there.
Not.
Yeah.
So guys, it's a lot of things, right? I was talking to a customer. I was at Zen Parts this morning, and I spoke to a customer. I didn't get his name. But we were talking about it, and we were talking about. I don't know. We got to talking about squaring up a car, and this is a video that I was telling you about this morning. And every single car we're finding these. We got another car that came in.
Yeah, well, this one goes off. There's a line of cars still.
But that car, the last one that came in, I just found 20 mil out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same story again, and I hope we don't have to get to the point of pulling the cradle out and. Sometimes it's better just to pull it out, but yeah. Okay, guys. So on the measuring point, I think we're done quickly before we get there, right? So one more thing is we're starting to find more and more issues on chassis legs.
Yes.
Right. So what I have spoken to you guys in the video before this is that we're busy with a lot of production items, so a lot of reproduce items, like I showed you now, the accelerator bracket holders, right, which is a metal holder, but you can't just go and clap it in. You can, but it will never look right. The pedal will always give you drama. So we've just supplied Zen out now, and Zen has got stock now of the plastic bumper holders. Later on in this week, they'll have the chrome bumper holders. So they got about 30 units or something like that. They sorted for now. So also, again, you need to get out to them if you want it, because it's going to get sold out fast, and then we will have more into production later. The other thing that we're working with is chassis legs. We're finding more and more rust on chassis legs. The question that we come to now is how much of rust is in there? Are they rotten to the core, or how far is the rust through, right? And we're never going to be able to see that. No matter what, you can shove a camera down there and go and look, it won't tell you how far the rust is. So we're getting to a point in our builds where we're actually reproducing chassis legs, where it becomes mandatory that we replace them.
Yeah.
Right, so we're not too worried about lining up, because this is our measurements basically, but we are replacing chassis from the new restorations that come in. We are replacing them all. Yeah. So there will be another video, but that's how far we've got to go. And there's a couple of things in the car. There's a couple of areas in the car as well that it's going to become mandatory, that even though it's not messed up now,
it eventually is going to
get so for the longevity of the vehicle, let us just replace it now, right? So it will, and we're also going to try and close up these holes here basically for
the factory ones, yeah. Where that's the critical points where
And that's where the issues are coming in. These holes here that you see on the
the
chassis
factory
legs,
left. Yeah.
we actually want to start closing them up now just to keep longevity of the chassis legs, because that's a lot of the issues are coming in there. Right, so this is, you got dust that builds up in there, you get rainwater or
Sand
water
and
when you
stuff
wash
that
the
goes
motor,
in there, so it soaks in
and
there.
it soaks in there, doesn't dry up as fast as it's supposed to, and then it starts causing rust afterwards. So back into this car again. I don't even think we need to do about the floor, but the whole floor is cut out basically, or a quarter of the floor is cut out. Now we're gonna fabricate it. I will show you guys videos afterwards of it fabricated, and what I can maybe do is we can do a video afterwards again, right, of the cradle on now, the floor fabricated, the engine bay done.
Yes.
So all these rust areas, not rust areas, all these purchase welds.
Yeah,
that's
that's
exactly what it
we're
is.
gonna clean up all that. Yes.
Right, this here.
You can see. Yeah.
All those welds here.
Yeah. All that's gonna be all cleaned out.
Just cleaned up neatly, neatened out.
Yeah.
Right, and wherever you see masking tape, there's issues here. That's welding issues that we gotta get through. Get that cleaned out. So let's do a lineup video.
Yes. With all the parts in
this
there.
car.
Yeah.
Right, a lineup video to show you now without manipulation. We'll get the fenders on, we'll get the bonnet on, get the doors on nicely, get the front and rear windscreen on. Maybe even put the kit on.
Yes.
For the sake of it. Put the kit on, bumper on, headlights, grills, and you can actually see how far we get with lining up before she's painted. So there's no manipulation, there's none of that. But to get to this point of it, the car's on the machine for 5 days.
Yeah.
It's 5 days. 5 days. So 5 days is not just general labor that goes into it. 5 days is with the technician out on it and with Atul basically on it. Right, and then you can see they're still not finished. So Atul, is there anything else that you want to say before we run the video?
I think we're quite okay with it. Like I said, you know, the main things that we're always pointing out, this is just to educate the customers of looking and watching that these cars, especially, like you said, the boot area, the floor areas, and these areas, if you pick up any signs of welding and stuff like that.
So come and do this.
Very, very careful.
Come and do this quickly, right? Let's just in our later videos, let's maybe try and do a video just where people can do a quick measurement. So it's not going to tell you where the car is out and how, but it's going to give you an idea of what you're in for.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think that'll be good. So if you're going to buy a car, or if you're going to see a car, so remember what I told you this. I'm not trying to not pinpoint anybody. I'm not trying to expose anybody, if I can call it that, right? I'm not trying to do anybody down. I'm just saying that sometimes a seller doesn't even know what he's selling. And it's an innocent sale.
Yes.
Right? But then also let it not get taken further through with the buyer and so on like that. So then maybe they both know what they got and one can rectify it, and before somebody just outlays money thinking he's buying good and then going through the rest of the cars that we got here, then
exactly
you've bought unknowingly. Right, so maybe let's try and put together a video for them. Just a basic measure out video to say, listen here, when you're going to see a car, take a tape measure.
Tape measure, that's all you need.
Right?
Yeah.
A measure from this point to that point, this point to that point, that point to that point. Oh shit, now I can see it. I'm 15 miles out here, there's something here. Then you can make a decision to say, guys, the car is out. I know that I'm getting myself into something. I don't know what exactly what I'm getting myself into.
You know what you're paying for.
But it is into something, so you know what you're getting yourself into, basically. You know what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna try and put something together from there.
100%. You know, I mean, because these cars are not cheap. I mean, they're becoming more expensive to repair and with this parts and everything. You know,
this is a Evo 1.
Yeah. And we have to. I mean, the Evo 1. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's a classic, and we have to make sure that all these things are all the previous
guys,
damages.
We're showing you on bare metal, right? This is as good as it can get. Right, we're showing you on bare metal. We never came and covered up here now and showing you on primer, and this is bare metal. It's as good as it can get. So you can see cuck welding here. You can see overseas viewers, cuck welding means bad welding, right? But you can see it's just, and yet we're not saying we're the best, right? But we're trying our best. So yes, there's other people out there that's got a lot more expertise than us. That's got a lot. They can do things a lot more better. We know that, but we are trying our best. So
the main thing is when we're doing the pulling and we're doing the measurements, they are right.
Well, one thing I can say is that I can see a difference in every car, especially in the paintwork.
We put the suspensions on and everything's lining up. Wheel alignment is
and
right.
the East cars that we're battling with, with assembly.
Yes.
The East cars that we're battling with, because we checked here, especially with the guys I paid before.
Yeah.
So I used to send the cars out for alignment before, and I've sent the car out 3 times. I've paid out of my pocket 3 times for the E36.
Yes. Yeah.
for the E36. It's crazy. So anyway, guys, look, I hope this video was informative for you guys, right? We got a lot of good feedback, right? Especially with the guys that we're meeting, who say that the videos are very informative and it actually helps them. The guy this morning actually told me, he says one of our videos helped him buy a car. It helped him when buying a car. So
Yes.
it means that it's working, right? I know I'm not very active on comments and that I apologize for that. It's just that it's crazy busy and we're hands-on. So we don't have the time to be celebrities and be busy on the camera all the time. So when we do get a chance, you can see everybody's waiting for us here basically to get done, so they can get on. They get waiting for us to get done on the video so they can carry on. Okay, guys, I think let's round it up.
Okay.
Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. And let me know if there's anything else that you want to know. If maybe there's a question that we must share. Look, we're only busy in the front for now.
Yes.
We have covered cars that we've done at the back.
Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything else that you can think of that I haven't covered, and I can try and do it in the next scenario. And those 2 other videos are coming out, so stay tuned for them. Okay, cheers guys.